What if I could give you the code to unlocking everything you want in your life? If I could give the secret blueprint to ensuring that every action you take was the right one, leading you down the path of your desires. Would you listen? Would you implement it and start practicing it? Let's find out. We're going to talk about it in this week's episode of the brand new podcast with Miss K. Hello, kittens. It's your girl, Miss K. Welcome to another episode of the brand new podcast. I hope you guys are coming from the jealousy episode because that one, oh my God, I was so excited to record that episode. As I alluded in the intro at the jealousy episode, this episode is so important to me. It means a lot to me. It is something that I have come under the revelation of recently through taking a lot of action over the last couple of months towards being very intentional to create the life I want and the business that I want and the outcomes that I want. I've realized that I have tapped into something. It was kind of like a cheat code to making sure that I stayed aligned and on the right path and didn't overthink whether something was the right decision. I am a massive overthinker. It is something that I am being very intentional to work on over the season in my life as I realize that I have a lot of unprocessed thoughts that I do not allow myself to explore and release. This means that anytime my mind slows down, it doesn't actually get the time to enter into a state of rest or flow or creativity because I have too many thoughts that I allow to go unprocessed, too many emotions that I don't allow myself to feel. And so I am working on these things. And as I've been taking action towards stuff lately, I have been moving through all that overthinking stage and just taking action. I've been going through a lot, like shifting my business model. I have been making a lot of decisions with my old business, scaling it back, slimming it down. I think eventually we will be closing those doors in that chapter of my life. There just has not been the type of alignment. I feel like a lot no longer aligns for me, and my goal and passion have evolved greatly into new things. And I have been holding myself back from taking action towards that, like through the podcast, through my coaching business, networking, and putting myself out there to work more with people and create that community. These are all things that I have shared before that I'm working on doing. Behind the scenes, there's been a lot of situations coming up, and I've also been keeping my eyes on jobs. I have been applying at roles that I think might accompany and give me a lot of skill sets that I need for this next chapter in my life and would also supplement my income because I've pulled back on my business. I just don't have the energy to pour into it. I don't have the desire to pour into it anymore. So I've just kind of been choosing the path of least resistance and taking an option that allows me to just have the mental bandwidth to focus on things. And so there's been lots going on. And lots of applications have gone out and different things and interviews. I turned down a bunch of jobs because it just wasn't aligned. But over the last couple months, particularly within the last month, I've had some really interesting things happen. I sent a proposal to this one job. And I tapped into my BDE energy, the big dick energy. You know, you guys have heard me talk about having the confidence and audacity of an average white man when you're taking action towards things. I did something recently where I applied for this listing that had a bogus salary being offered for an intense role. I pitched a proposal and a cover letter that I would come in and do it for double. I literally gave them double the salary amount. And I also gave them 3 things that I would do to improve the operations of their business just from the few minutes I took looking at their socials and their website. And then I filed it away. It reminded me a lot of how I got my corporate job before I quit to do my business. I got that job from walking into an interview with BDE. And when the guy tried to push me away in the first interview, I saw the owner coming out of the bathroom and I flagged him down. I said, listen, I am ideal for this job, not this role. I didn't come in here for this role that I initially went into, but I wanted to put my foot in the door in this company. This guy was so impressed by my audacity, he hired me. I walked out of the interview and he created a role for me. I started that Monday. And it was that job that pushed me to incredible lengths, realizing what I was capable of. I realized I needed to start my own business. It had that same energy. When I applied for it, I filed it away because I was like, they're going to laugh. Like, I was literally asking for double the salary. 3 weeks later, I get a message that they want to have an interview. And I was like, this is insane. I was like, okay, I have the first interview, nailed it. I thought it went like trash, but I nailed it. Apparently the guy was so impressed with me, this one manager. He asked me some questions that I gave very bold answers to. Then he asked me, what do you think sets our business apart? I was like, honestly, I can't answer that because when I looked at your socials, I couldn't tell what set you guys apart. That's something I would fix with our social media team. I would make sure that we start understanding what sets you guys apart. I was giving him these incredible answers and he was so impressed. He put me in touch with the investors of this company. The investors then had an interview with me. These guys are, 2 MBAs. They were throwing out big jargon. I don't fucking know the jargon. I know a fraction, but I'm smart. I'll figure stuff out. But anyway, so that I thought too went like trash. No, they called me a few days later and offered me a role that was only $5,000 more than the listing. I was like, this is so fucking insulting right now. And then they tried to say there could be some profit sharing bonus and whatever on there. I was like, kind of really do want this job, to be honest. I need it for the experience. It would be so valuable. It would literally be me running and growing their business, which would be an incredible opportunity to come in and fix their business. And there's a lot of potential. I have already billions of ideas, but it would require me to do a lot of the same type of hustling I did with the unicorn. And I don't know if I'm ready for that again. So these are things that I've been thinking about. I've been dealing with a lot of stress and anxiety over all these kind of things. Should I be doing it? Should I be taking it? And then having these opportunities, I had other opportunities come up where somebody actually sent me a rejection notice and then reached out after the rejection notice a week after and being like, hey, so we didn't actually find anybody in our first pool. We've come back in and we'd really like to talk to you. And so I was like, okay, let's talk. That's been going really well. So that's still in the works. But this situation is coming up. And the one that reached out to me is something that aligns a lot more with things that are important to me. It is very community focused. You could sense the genuine integrity that these people had. There was a collective resonance of value. Even though our core values were different on paper, their energetic signature was very similar. While I had empathy, they had kindness, or while I had integrity, they had communication. Things that were still very complementary to each other and weren't just about profit and bottom line. This is also a union type event that takes care of a very important part of our economy, something that everybody loves and people respect and admire. So it's something that I would be incredibly proud to work with. This feels good. I realized that taking action in accordance with the people and situations that align with your core values is the key to staying on the path intended for you. Our core values are the guiding compass of our journey in every season of our lives. We go through different chapters and seasons, so core values might change. I think you might have one or two that stay very important to you, but I think it's reasonable to assume these will evolve as we evolve. And right now, my journey is based on my top 5 core values. Integrity is number 1. Integrity is so important to me. It was aligning with them and it was resonating. In less than 24 hours, I had 2 interviews with this company. And so it is Sunday right now, so we'll see what happens next week. But it was a very exciting opportunity. And I was like, this is the key. This is the key to ensuring that we stay on the paths intended for us. We can talk about using our emotions as a guide, but sometimes our emotions can get clouded and we can become overwhelmed with emotions when we don't process things properly. We have emotions and we're taught not to listen to them, which is understandable in the sense that you want to balance your approaches with clarity and not just be emotionally driven all the time. And I felt like I realized the importance of aligning and taking actions with people, situations, and circumstances that aligned with my core values. Like recently, I touched base with somebody that I've known for decades, and we hadn't seen each other in 10 years. It was a great visit, but there was a discrepancy in values, that alignment had been lost in things that we were once aligned on. Things had shifted, not necessarily that either one of us are no longer good people, but we value different things. All these situations have come up recently to show me what happens when you take action or when you surround yourself with people whose values do not align with yours. And I think that when you establish those core values for yourself during this season of your life, You are giving yourself the upper hand to ensure that the actions you take are complementary to what you want. What are you trying to manifest and create intentionally in your life? It's going to be supported by the core values that you place. I'm going to give you some tips as to how you can define these for yourself. I was somebody who never had my own set of core values. I didn't really understand what it meant. I didn't have any that defined my business or my purpose. And I remember reading this. I wish I could remember where I read it. It was actually trying to teach you how to take action in alignment with your core values. And it's all coming back to me now as I'm talking on the podcast. I don't know what book it was. I don't know if it was a podcast or something I read online, but I've read this somewhere. And now I understand the importance of it. It's literally the cheat code to ensuring that you stay on the easiest path through this game of life. If you don't have your core values aligned, if you don't know what that looks like for you, this is what you're going to do. I want you to Google core values and list examples of core values. I want this list to be at least 20 core values long. I want you to go through this list and separate them into 2 equal columns. So if it's 20, put 10 in each. If it's 40, put 20 in each. Write your own down. As you see what's there, if something inspires you that isn't there, write it on that list. When you've gotten your full list, try to stick with an even number. It's going to be a lot easier for you. Let's cap it at 40. Don't go higher than that. Get your list of core values. If you really want to do this in a way that challenges you to determine them very firmly, stick to 20. Put them in a column, 10 on each side. Write these down on a piece of paper. 10 on each side. Then look at the first one on the left and the first one on the right. If it's integrity versus compassion, which one of the two right now is more important to you, that speaks to you, that resonates, that feels something in you? Is it integrity or is it compassion? Then circle the one if it's integrity. Move down to the second one. Is it success or is it creativity? Which two of these speak to you? Is creativity something that you really feel inspired and drawn to? Is this one more important to you? And don't overthink it. Don't spend too long on it. Go with the ones who are speaking to you. It'll only become muzzled once you start to doubt it. So listen to what that clarity is telling you. If it's creativity, circle creativity. If it's success, circle success. Do this all the way down. Then you're going to take all the ones that you circled and again, split those into 2 columns. And you're going to do that and eliminate them as a priority. And I know it might get a little bit more challenging and cause you to really evaluate yourself, which is what you need. This is good because you need a clear, defined sense of who you are right now in this season of your life. This is going to help you gain so much clarity, direction, motivation, and inspiration during this part of your journey. You're going to do that until you have 3 to 5 core values that really resonate with who you are right now and who you want to become. You're going to find that the core values you've written down that are important to you are also tied to this next version of you. You're taking them, even though you may not fully understand it, it's tying into this next version of you. So now you've created a bridge, a blueprint, a GPS of how you're going to navigate this season in your life. Are the people in your life aligned with these core values? Are the offers you're getting, are the situations you're putting yourself in complementary to these core values? When you look at your core values and everything around you, and the situations, the people, and the opportunities, you're going to see where there's not an alignment and where you can lean into, pursue, and follow the path. When you take action and pursue the opportunities and the people who are complementary to those core values, you are always on the right path. It will always work out for you. It'll always be exactly what you need in that moment. It'll always take you to the next level. It will always be exactly what you need in this journey. The only time you will find that you are struggling, where you are confused, where there are problems, is when you are in situations or aligned with opportunities or surrounded by people who do not align with your values. And when you look at it from that way, it becomes so clear. It becomes so clear, and you almost realize, why haven't I allowed myself to succeed like this? Because we are taught to follow and be grateful for the situations that we have and the people that we have and just power through without filtering the situations to actually complement what it is that we want in our lives. And it's been polluted to think that it's selfish. But imagine who you would be if the people, situations, and circumstances in your life were all reflective of your core values. Imagine the impact and the beauty you would be able to exude into the world and the impact you would have on other people because you're thriving, because everything around you is aligned with your core values. And the storms you could weather because you would have the foundation set, the people and the support systems would all complement that. But when we have things that do not support our core values, that do not align, that is where the foundation is shaky. That's where the problems come in. That's where unnecessary struggles or sufferings exist because we are in misalignment. Sometimes we can be on the best path and we can be with the best people and something awful still happens. In those situations, I do not want you to get discouraged, and I don't want you to look at a situation and think, where am I wrong? Where am I flawed? Where did things go bad? How am I struggling, and what did I do wrong? Because sometimes it will take time before we can look at a situation to realize what needed to come from that situation, what needed to be shaken out of the situation in order to further align. When we make the conscious decision to be intentional with the actions and the people and the things that we want in our life to align with those core values, we move on a highway. We drive on a highway that is literally paved beautifully on the way to everything we are ultimately trying to create for ourselves and the people. It's like having a cheat code to operate through this game of life. You will also find that people whose core values resonate together, you attract them, you move through the world on the same frequency and support each other. As you grow and evolve, and as core values evolve, you meet other people who also expand your perspective and teach you more. And you start to realize, oh my gosh, maybe creativity wasn't a core value to you 5 years ago. And now it is because you met people who have inspired this from you. It has evolved and you've become this totally new version of yourself. It's like Sarah Shaquille, one of my favorite digital artists. She was a dentist, and then she does all those beautiful digital art creations with glitter and diamonds. Through creativity, she became a digital artist. That's a core value that's obviously very important to her that she leaned into and shaped her and became her. Now she's incredibly successful through this. You get to evolve and your core values get to evolve. But when you still take action and you have that roadmap, you will always succeed. You will always be on the best path for you. Even if a storm comes along and things try to shake you up or challenge you, you can rest assured knowing that everything will always work out for you when you are in alignment with your core values and you are taking action from that place. I hope that this episode has inspired you and given you encouragement to define yourself with those core values for this season of your life so that the actions you take will be in alignment with the best version of yourself. If you are struggling to find that next part of your journey and understand what that looks like, start with defining your core values. Every action you take or idea and inspiration you have, examine it against that list of core values and ask yourself, does this support that lifestyle? Does this support those core values? Is this in alignment with it? Are they complementary to it? And you will know it. When you take action towards that, you will never get it wrong. I love you guys. I hope you're inspired in this episode. Thank you so much for listening. I'm going to talk to you guys in the next episodes. This is Miss K. I'm out for now. Bye.